Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 13. So the story begins with Shoma talking with his uncle Dente, and he is talking to him about Hanto and how he is able to transform into a Kamen Rider, because he's a human, and how can he transform into a Kamen Rider without being a Ganute himself? And talks about the surgery and whatnot. He told everything to his uncle. And Uncle Dente confirms that this operation that Hanto had to endure must have indeed gave him, Ganute abilities. That's how he's able to transform. However, it didn't give him the ability to create Kachizo, so he has no choice but to come to you and let him borrow your Kachizos. Now, here's the thing that Dente added that just adds more mystery to Dr. Nick, is that there's no human on Earth that they would able to make a surgery on Hanto. There's no way they could operate such a surgery on him unless that person was a Ganute. But Shoma tells his uncle that there's no way in hell that Hanto will allow a Ganute to operate on him, let alone, touch him. And he tells Uncle Dente that he lost everything thanks to the Ganutes. That's why he's always anti-Ganute. And that's why he never told Hanto that he is a half Ganute himself. And then he further goes on about his head, hurting because the moment he saw an old photo of Hanto and his mother, his head started to hurt. And Dente says that you may have a memory problem because your head is trying to remember something, but you can't remember. And memories like that they're sealed up. They're blocked for a reason. And my second theory of Shoma being the Ganute that Hanto is hunting, it's a very strong possibility. And it sucks because I pretty much prefer my first theory of him being half brother with Hanto and Shoma and all that. But I don't know. The second theory is becoming more and more real than my first theory. But then again, the writers are doing great so far, so I'm hoping that maybe they add a twist. But right now it's too early. But yeah, so we have this talk between family, and then speaking of family, we go to the twins, and they're still stuck in an alley. They're not returning home, because if they return home, Lango is gonna marry them off to two rich families, and they don't want to get separated. And so they're angry, and their anger is directly towards their half-brother. And so they made it their life's mission to go hunt him down and kill him because it's, in their belief, it's his fault that they're in such a predicament. So yeah, they're pissed off. So they're going to hunt them down. And then after the opening credits, Sashika presents Shoma with a cake that she baked. And apparently she's been practicing, making cakes because she has a job. She has a job. Apparently the local kids club has hired her to bake a cake, and so she's doing that for their Christmas party. And she wants Shoma to, try it and see if it's good. And the king of sweets obliges. He eats a piece of cake, and we get the whole, he is enjoying the cake. He's in food heaven. We see him pooping out new Kachizos. And then we get flashbacks of him being a kid, and you see mini Shoma looking at a window, and through that window he sees his siblings celebrating the twins' birthday. And then, Shoma was, kind enough to give the twins some flowers as presents for their birthday, but unfortunately, we all know how that turned out. And then we go back to the present, and Shoma wants Sashika to teach him how to bake a cake, and so they both made a choice of making a strawberry layer cake. And speaking of family, we go to the Ganute world. Lango takes this new Ganute to his brother so he can operate on him to have some modifications for his new job, because he's going to go face Shoma and Hanto. So Lango wants him ready and prepared. And the Ganute asks Nave, so what am I supposed to do? And Nave's just, the first thing you do is just lay down. That's it. And then soon after, Golata approaches Lango and says, our twin siblings are not coming back. They're running away from home. And Lango just wasn't worried at all, because he's like, well, they're after our half brother, so they will come back once they're ready. And besides, I can use this distraction to, accelerate my plans. So at least it gives Shoma and Hanto the distraction away from Lango, and he could do whatever it is that he wants to do without any distractions. And then we move to Hanto and his article. He wrote an article about the Ganutes, and he was about to publish it, but he is on the fence, because if he publish it, sure, the people will be aware about their existence, but at the same time, it's going to get harder to hunt down Ganutes. And however, he doesn't need to publish his article, because there's people in the cafe talking about, Gavv, and how, we have this article online that, hey, Gavv has destroyed another monster. He's one of the good guys. And, everything is positive. So Hanto's like, I don't think I need to, publish this, because right now, Gavv is making headlines, and there's monster sightings, and Gavv is, destroying them left and right. So at least people are aware that, there's somebody who is going to protect them from these monster attacks. And speaking of monster attacks, Hanto scrolls down his phone and he spots a missing persons report. Apparently, a boy named Riku has disappeared, and his best friend is looking for him. And the last text that his best friend received from Riku was this picture of this musician. And he is asking anybody who has seen this musician to go contact him. And so it's up to Hanto to find the musician, because he automatically assumes that this music guy is a Ganute. So he calls Shoma. So we go to the next scene, where we see Sashika and Shoma at a grocery store, and they're buying ingredients for their cake. Shoma receives a call from Hanto telling, Shoma about his plans, that this musician could be a Ganute, so I have to go and investigate and rescue Riku and all that. And Shoma asked, do you need my help? Because I can go. And Hanto said, don't worry about it. Let me handle it. If there's something that I can't handle, I will call you. Don't worry about it. And so that's it. And Shoma continues on doing his thing. But before he does that, he sends a couple of Kachizos to go hunt down Riku. So we have our Kachizo scouts, roaming around the city and just, see if they spot Riku. And then we go directly back to the Shashika office, and we witness, scenes of Shoma trying to bake a cake. He pours like flour so quickly that flour just splashed on Shoma and Shashika. We have this weird moment of Shoma just staring at Shashika, and Shashika's like, "Don't stare at me. Try to, stir the batter, and don't do it fast. Do it slow and gentle, and stop staring at me." It was so awkward and funny, and like, I'm too afraid to leave Shoma alone in my house and then come back with nothing to come back to, since my house is burned to the ground. And Sashika had to run because she had a job, and this was a missed opportunity, because she could have said before she headed out the door is that I better come back with my office intact, because I don't want to see my office in flames. And Shoma's like, "Don't worry about it. Your house is going to be fine. It's going to be messy, but your office is going to be fine. Don't worry about it." I mean, that would have been so funny, but I'll be too afraid to leave Shoma in my house after what I saw. Nah. So Sashika leaves, and we go to Hanto, and he tries to find this musician, and then we go back to Shoma, and yes, the office is not burnt down. That's the important thing. But the next important thing, he finally finished his cake. And I have to say, for a first timer, the cake looks pretty good. It's just, I wonder how it tastes like. Because sure, on the outside it looks great. But if I get the opportunity to taste it, and if it tastes nasty, then uh-oh. So Shoma successfully bakes his cake, and then one of the Kachizo scouts reports his findings to Shoma, and then we get to the next scene, and Hanto finds Kani the Ganute. And earlier, Kani the Ganute was angry that the spices are not up to Lango's standards. And he is angry, he is frustrated, and he wishes that the old bosses could return, because at least, they weren't so high on standards when it comes to spices. But Kani the Ganute is very upset and angry that, man, my job got 10 times harder now that Lango is in charge of the operations. Like, ugh. And so fast forward, Hanto finds him, and then soon after Shoma shows up. They both transform, but then one of the twins' agents shoots Shoma, and Shoma was like, okay, so Hanto, go deal with the Ganute, and I will go after, this guy. So good luck, bye-bye. And Hanto's like, Oi, what the hell, where the hell you going? And I have to say, this fight, if you even call it a fight, between Kani the Ganute and Hanto, the Kamen Rider, I have to say it was very romantic, because the way the fight started is that Kani pushes Hanto into a fountain, and he goes into the fountain, and then all of a sudden he decides to attack him with water, like splash Hanto. And Hanto was wondering, what the hell are you doing? and just like continues on splashing Kani. So they have a splash fest, and then and then it got weirder when there's a song in the background, they're singing in the background, and they continue splashing each other, and then we get this scene of Hanto chasing after this guy Newt, and he trips and falls into the fountain, and I just find it to be very funny and reminiscent too, because this scene reminds me of Double, where Shotaro was chasing after a musician. Right? I know. For those who've seen Double, knows what I'm talking about, where Shotaro was chasing after this musician on this beach. You see seagulls flying. They're running in the sand. There's the sun setting. It was so... Yeah, just memories of that just cracked me up. But yeah, Hanto, even though he's anti-Ganute, he had a romantic moment in the fountain with this particular Ganute. So after that love fest, Hanto kicks a chocolate bullet that bounces off Kani, and then it hit the box that contained the human spices, and Hanto quickly goes and takes the spices, and Kani once again is frustrated and angry that, this job is starting to suck, because after 20 years this is not what he signed up for. Like, he's just like, ever since Lango took over, things have not been easy for me. Like, yeah, I have spices, but they're not up to par, not to his quality, and just it's horrible. My job sucks. And Hanto was like, wait a minute, you've been doing this for 20 years? And he asked, like, have you seen this Ganute? And Kani was like, screw you, and does a splash attack and splashes away. He disappears. And Hanto's like, oh man, he escaped. So we go to Shoma. He catches up to the agent, and then we get to see the new form, the Busho form, and he quickly destroys the agent. And then we get to the main event, Shoma versus the twins. And I have to say, twins, where did you come from? You guys are excellent fighters. You don't need part-timers. You can do things on your own. You guys are excellent fighters. So where did you guys come from? I didn't expect you to fight this good. Because during the fight, you see Shoma, trying his best to attack his twin siblings, but he gets easily overpowered. You see him transform to forms that he already have, from the chip form to the marshmallow to the chocolate form. He does everything, and yet nothing seems to work. He's getting his ass kicked by the twins. And Shoma asks, why did you hate me so much? And just to sum it all up, the twin says, you are the root of our misfortunes. It's because of you that we are going to get separated and married off. If it weren't for you, then we still would have our jobs. And if you haven't meddled, and we're not going to be separated by you, we wish that you were never born. Just a lot of harsh words. And thanks to their expert and thanks to their fighting skills and their hatred towards their half-brother, they managed to blast him off a cliff, while Hanto shows up too late and he is witnessing his senpai fall off a cliff. And then we get Sashika returning from house sitting and takes, the cake that Shoma baked, and she's waiting for him to return, and you see Shoma falling off a cliff. And that's the end of the episode. Obviously, he's going to survive. He has plot armor. He is the main character. There's no way in hell he's going to die. And the preview really gave it away, because in the preview, the first scene we see is Shoma alive and well. So it's just a dead giveaway either way. But it's a great episode. I did enjoy the fountain scene so much that I had to watch it again. It was so funny. Shoma and Sashika trying to bake a cake together, and of course Shoma is doing horribly, and luckily the office didn't burn to the ground. Dente is now has his report on Hanto, and again, he was right that, someone must have operated on Hanto to give him Ganute powers. And it must be a Ganute, but no, it's a human. But I'm sure Dente was like, okay, so who is this human that operated on this boy? And I'm sure he has questions of his own. The twins. Again, where did they come from their fighting skills? They're good fighters, so I'm like, damn. And you would think that, they're great in fighting. What's gonna happen once their older sister, brother, and of course Lango enter the fray? How powerful they are in fighting. Ooh. You think the twins are bad now. Watch when you face off against your other siblings, Shoma and Hanto. Yeah, man, it's going to be really, really bad. And of course, the truth will come out about Shoma's origins, and it's going to be very, very ugly. But yeah, another tasty episode. The writing of this show is really, really good, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. And yeah, I think that's it. That sums it all up. Thank you so much for listening. And have you seen episode 13? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did I miss anything? Even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!